Today. This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please, you guys, smash that like button if you guys haven't. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk this boxing, man. Hasim Rahman Jr. is fighting Jake Paul. It is going down next month in August, in the beginning of August. And Hasim Rahman got I wouldn't say he got a fair shake on the deal because he's only had a 4-week training camp. And, I just think that that's a lot for a fighter, man. That's a lot to ask for a fighter. To only have a 4-week training camp. You just been brutally knocked out in your last fight against one of the Morrison brothers. Okay, if you guys don't know who Morrison is, Tommy Morrison was a Hall of Fame uh, type of fighter. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he made the Hall of Fame, but he was, up on that. He got a couple good wins. He beat George Foreman in his prime, not in his prime, but he beat George Foreman when George Foreman was a world champion, and stuff like that. And he had some pretty good fights against Ray Mercer and a couple other guys. And his sons, they're trying to carry the legacy. And but in I believe his name is Kenzie Morrison. He knocked out Hasim Rahman in his last fight, and it was brutal. It was brutal. Hasim Rahman looked like he was all over the place when he got knocked out, and they stopped the fight. But saying all that to say this is now, it's almost like Hasim Rahman Jr. has hit the lottery. He was supposed to fight on, I believe I think it was the undercard of Jake Paul before. So he was definitely, supposed to fight on his undercard. For whatever reason, he got caught COVID and he couldn't do it. I remember that because he was on the card and I wanted to see him fight. I believe he had a decent opponent ahead of him, and I just wanted to see the guy fight. He was an undefeated guy. I remember that he was Hasim Rahman Jr. was on Floyd Mayweather's 24/7 at one time, and they had a crazy sparring session where it was pretty much doghouse rules. The last man that came in, excuse me, two-man enter, pretty much one-man leave, and that's the motto that this whole situation was how it was going down in the doghouse. And Hasim Rahman Jr., his brother was getting beat by a guy, and Hasim Rahman Jr. stepped in and start smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, y'all. Let's get these likes up, man. Please, man. Let's hit these likes. Come on, man. The notifications are F. So we gotta hit the like button, man. But yeah, Hasim Rahman Jr.'s little brother was getting beat the hell up. And Hasim Rahman said, hey, look, you're going to beat on my little 18-year-old or 16, 17-year-old brother. Beat on somebody your own size. Beat on me or whatever. Pause. And it was like, the guy got in the ring and, Hasim Rahman, from what it looked like, he did his thing. Both guys were done. They were icing their hands. It was a very, very, brutal, brutal battle and doghouse rules. And, Floyd Mayweather was in the center of it all. I believe both guys got paid a little bit. I'm not sure what happened, but um, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that might have, hurt a little bit of Floyd Mayweather and Hasim Rahman Sr. the ties with him after that fight, because it was his Hasim Rahman Jr.'s son. I mean, excuse me, senior's son, which was Hasim Rahman Jr.'s brother, little brother, and he was getting bested. And Hasim Rahman Jr. stepped in and did what he had to do. But I say all that to say this: what can Hasim bring to the table that Jake Paul has never seen? Okay, that's number one. You got to ask yourself. Number two, and more importantly, what has Jake Paul done in his career so far to make you believe that he can beat a guy like Hasim Jr.? You know, and the more I think about it, you guys, and the more I break it down, and both guys have been, boxing for a little while now. Hakeem Rockman Jr. has been, he already said this life has brought me, you know, crazy abundance of wealth, and I've been in private schools, my whole life, and and boxing brought that. So how could I ever disrespect the name of Hasim Rahman Jr. Hasim Rahman by losing to a guy like Jake Paul? My personal opinion is you can lose by anybody. There's no man out here invincible. You know what's going on, Romania Mike in the chat? Smash that like button. Let's get these likes up, Romania Mike. I need you to hit 5 thumbs up right now. Find the accounts, hit 5 thumbs up, bro. We got to get my viewers, man. I don't go live as often, man. We got to get our viewers in here, man. But yeah, man. So, with all that being said, I really, really, truly believe that, Hasim Rahman Jr. can get the job done. And I believe he will. I believe he eventually will get the job done, but it's not going to be an easy task. Hasim Rahman Jr. is one of those type of fighters that, when the going gets tough, we haven't seen him tested yet. You know, well, we did see him tested and he failed against, Tommy Morrison's son. And is that the reason why Jake Paul is picking Hasim Rahman Jr. to fight him now? Is he picking? Is Jake Paul picking Hasim Rahman Jr.? Is he picking him because he lost already? Is he doing that? You know, Remember, Hasim Rahman Jr. is coming off of a devastating TKO or either KO, aka ice season knockout loss. You know, is this easy money for Jake Paul? Jake Paul is undefeated so far. Um, he's undefeated, man. He's undefeated. He hasn't lost in the ring yet. Um, he's not like his brother. His brother's got like 2 draws and a 1 win and 2 losses, some crazy shit. But Jake Paul hasn't lost yet. And a lot of people are saying, when the allure of Jake Paul, will it end if he takes an L right now? Will he take look at all them likes, man. Shout out to my man Romanian Mike, bro. Dudes low key got the 10 accounts, bro. No cap. But that's love though, man. Thanks a lot, bro. No doubt. But yeah, man, can Jake Paul get the job done? When I break this matchup stylistically, man, I think 2 fighters are gonna go in here, and Jake Paul is gonna be one to put on a show, man. You know, or is he gonna be in there and be like, because Hasim Rahman Jr. said when they sparred, he could only use one hand. He could not use his left hand. It is Jake Paul's first fight being against a southpaw. Can he crack the Da Vinci Code and Hasim Rahman Jr.? We've seen Tommy Morrison's son crack that code before. Jake Paul's code has never been cracked. He's almost like Houdini. He's never, he's nobody's been able to beat Jake Paul. You say what you want. Nate Robinson got iced. A couple other guys got iced. What is his name? Woodley, Tyron Woodley got iced. He got put down crazy. That boy got put in that boy, woo. And it's like these devastating knockouts that Jake Paul are getting. It's not like these one-hit wonder type knockouts. These are devastating one punch. These guys ain't getting up after that punch type knockouts. So to me, I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, wow, bro. This is. He says, I bless you with some likes. Thanks, bro. But yeah, I mean, right now, I just feel like, Jake Paul can get the job done the more I think about it. But I want to see what shape Hasim Rahman Jr. comes in, because weight will play an issue. They got him on a rehydration clause, so he can't go over, I believe it's 10 pounds after the weigh-in. He got to stay under 210, I believe. The weigh-in is at 199 pounds, I believe, right at cruiserweight limit. This fight is not at heavyweight. Anything over 200 is heavyweight. This fight is under heavyweight, so it's a cruiserweight. So that's 199 pounds. That's what Olegana Usyk used to be. The former cruiserweight undisputed champion of the world. Okay, two-time world champion, now heavyweight world champion, Alexander Usyk. One of my favorite top 5 pound-for-pound fighters, if not the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the entire world of boxing. You know, and so when you're fighting in this guy's division and you're fighting against Hasim Rahman Jr., which has fought as high as 200 and 40, 50, 60 pounds. Okay, his last fight I believe was at 220, 230. Okay, you want him to, that was in fighting shape. When he's not fighting, I mean, the guy, this camp might be a weight loss. He's got to lose upwards of 30 pounds and 30. Hasim Rahman Jr. has 30 pounds. Okay, you guys, in 30 days. That's a big feat to ask anybody, even if you're not boxing. Okay, 30 pounds in 30 days, upwards. On the low end, it's 20 pounds in 30 days. That's on the low end. On the high end, it could be upwards of, I don't know what he ballooned up to. He could have been 235 for all I know, walking around. What's going on, man? We are back again. Sorry for the technical difficulties, you guys. Yeah, but I had to just do some whole other shit, man. To restart the platform and everything, man. But yeah, we're back. And yeah, man, I wanna get you guys' opinion on some of this stuff in the comment section if you guys rewatch this or whatever. About about some of this stuff that's going on with Jake Paul, man. Jake Paul saying he broke his back because he's carrying the promotion of this fight. Um, and I'm just like, wow, man, this guy's he's really going there. He's really saying that he's the only one promoting this fight. You guys got to understand, Hasim Rahman Jr. Yes, his dad got global status when he knocked out Lennox Lewis. But I mean, other than that, what has Hakeem Rockman Jr. done in the sport of boxing? Jake Paul, for all intents and purposes, has done more in the sport of boxing than Hakeem Rockman Jr. Some would say, but more views and more, than Hakeem Rockman Jr.'s dad and son. You know, just from a popularity point of view, not from boxing accolades and stuff like that. You got to go with Hasim Rahman Sr. because he became the heavyweight world champion of the world. I don't think Jake Paul will ever be a world champion. That's a lot to ask from a YouTube boxer. You know, will he ever fight for a meaningful belt? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that all of this stuff is a money grab for Hasim Rahman Jr. and Jake Paul, especially Jake Paul. Hasim Rahman Jr. took the money. What any guy would do. Now you see Tommy Morrison that actually beat Hasim Rahman Jr. was like, hey man, why didn't I get offered to fight? Why didn't I get this massive payday and stuff like that? And I mean, the truth be told is, I think they're picking Hasim Rahman Jr. because he lost to Mackenzie Morrison, I believe his name is Tommy Morrison's son. And you know, Tommy Morrison's son did not get the big fight. You would think it'd be the other way around, but I mean, it would be two white fighters fighting, which ain't nothing wrong with that, but it's like, you're Tommy, and plus, would Jake Paul even fight a guy like that has that type of knockout power to knock out a Hasim Rahman Jr.? You know, and I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I don't think that he will want to go in there and fight him straight up. To be honest, I don't think he would. I really don't think he would. You know, and so I just feel like right now, both fighters, Hasim Rahman Jr. and Jake Paul, are dialed in, and they should be. Jake Paul's probably had a 3-4 month training camp. He was supposed to fight Tommy Fury, which is the younger brother of the heavyweight world champion, two-time heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, which is arguably one of the best heavyweights to ever live. Jake Paul was supposed to fight his undefeated younger professional boxer, younger brother, Tommy Fury. Okay? And they never came, they never fought. Tommy Fury was saying that he couldn't come. And what I think it is, the more I think about it and the more I break down what happened in that situation, I think that Tommy Fury didn't want to come over here without his family. His brother is currently banned from the United States of America from entering. So it's like, bro, your brother, excuse me, yeah, your brother, and I feel like would be an integral part of this promotion and would pull the the pay-per-view numbers through the roof is not even allowed in the United States of America right now. He's banned from something that his promoter has done, allegedly. MTK Global's president, Irish guy, forgot his name, but Irish guy. And I just feel like right now, man, it's one of those situations where, you know, Tommy Fury would have got a hell of a payday. But I feel like right now he's not in a rush. He's not in a rush. I feel like that fight will still be there. Um, if Jake Paul beats um Hasim Rahman Jr., which is very possible, um, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're fighting in August. I believe August 4th or something like that, August 1st. Not August 1st, but it's like the week after July 30th. Danny Garcia fights on the July 30th. I believe it's like that August 7th or something like that, the 6th or something. And yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. Jake Paul is gonna be coming in, guns a blazing, gonna be ready. And I think it's gonna end in a knockout. I don't think this is gonna go to the full amount of rounds that's predicted. That I don't think it will. I think that Jake win fight, I should say. I want to see what shape Hasim Rahman Jr. is going to be in. That's going to say a lot in this fight, you guys. Whatever shape that Hasim Rahman Jr. is going to be in, that's going to determine does it go long, does it go short? Does he ice him in the distance? And can Hasim Rahman bite down and hurt and knock out Jake Paul? Can Hasim Rahman Jr. do that? I think that that'll be definitely his crowning achievement, knocking out this YouTuber, because this YouTuber has a lot of mouth, and I think that his mouth will only get bigger the more he fights. You know, and from what I'm hearing, man, Jake Paul has come a long way in his boxing career. You know, he's come a long way in his boxing career. You guys got to understand, man. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of people, in boxing that say that Jake Paul can actually fight. I know a lot of people down Jake Paul and say Jake Paul ain't this and Jake Paul ain't that. But when you really get down to the brass roots of everything and really understand, the science behind boxing, man, you know, he's got a pretty good one too. Jake Paul's got a pretty good one too. He does work off the jab. He does know how to jab, and he's got a really good power punch. Um, and I just want to see, can he implement his game plan against Hasim Rahman Jr. and it work? Okay, you guys got to understand, Hasim Rahman Jr. being that he's only got a 4-week notice to fight Jake Paul. Okay, he's almost in a weight camp right now, and they're saying that they're gonna fine him. I believe, what is it, 20%, 10%, 10% off of each pound that he misses weight. So each pound that he misses weight, he's gonna be fined. You know? And that's big. That's big when it comes to boxing, man. This guy is living off of his purse, you know. He's living off of his purse. You gotta understand that's his purse. That's what he's, that's how he feeds his family. But the more I think about it, you guys, I just really want to see what can. I just think Jake Paul is gonna find a way to possibly get it done and possibly get it done in spectacular fashion. You know, mind you, the spotlight is going to be huge for Hasim Rahman Jr. He's never been in front of this many people. He's never been the center of attention on these fights that he's fighting right now. He's never been in a you know, big, arena like this to fight with millions watching at home. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes, man. But I really want to know what you guys think in the comment section, man. And I'm gonna wrap this video up, man. Sorry for the technical difficulties that we did have. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Please smash that like button and subscribe, you guys. And until next time, you guys, this is Corey Lee Boxing, and you've definitely been hit